Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'd like to talk about Doctor Who once again, touching upon that great topic of great companions that never were in the history of Doctor Who. And this time out, I'd like to recommend Nasreen Chaudhry from Series 5, the Series 5 two-parter with the Silurians, The Hungry Earth, and Cold Blood, which I just recently revisited as of the time of this recording. And I just fell in love with this character dynamic that was going on between the character of Nasreen and the 11th Doctor. And let me specify, I kind of wish this was a scenario that we could have seen, more further explored between she and the 11th Doctor. I don't quite know if I would have liked the character mesh with any other Doctor, put it that way. Like if they were to bring the character back and revisit the character nowadays, it might be interesting seeing her playing off Peter Capaldi, who is the current Doctor as of the time of this recording. But I really loved the awe and the wonder that was on display in this character. A character who was a geologist, a scientist, and this is touching upon one of those things that I've talked about time and time again throughout the course of this series, wanting to see someone who was learned, someone who could hold their own in the face of the Doctor, had their own special skills and that kind of thing. And as portrayed by the actress Mira Sayal, Nasreen Chaudhry really seemed to me to be just a great sort of counterbalance to the Doctor, and we see her exuberance on display in this particular two-parter when the Doctor realizes what's at stake. People are being sort of kidnapped and stolen by the Silurians, who feel like their whole existence is at stake. Effectively, they feel like the human beings, the apes on the above ground, are trying to declare war. And of course you have the one Silurian who is held captive, caught by the Doctor and Rory respectively, after Amy's been taken as well. And it's kind of like a bartering that the Doctor wants to attempt. Give us our people back, we'll give you back yours. And unfortunately a hellstorm ends up opening up on all of them. But when he's finally decided to take the TARDIS down under the Earth and try to, make amends with the Silurians, you have this Doctor, Nasreen, very much chomping at the bit to go down with him. She's spent a large majority of her life studying the Earth and studying the crust underneath and rocks and geology and all these kinds of things. And she is just utmost excited, to the point of almost bouncing up and down like a child, like, you're taking me with you. We're going down together. I want to see what's down there. And she effectively, through the sort of, mentorship of the Doctor, for lack of a better term, she's put into a position where she's effectively like an ambassadorial role for all of humanity in talking peace with the electorate, sort of head of the Silurians. And it's just this character. I really loved that exuberance that she has on display, that joie de vivre, for lack of a better term. She is very much lustful for life. And of course, there's a whole romantic aspect too in the background with one of the other scientists or mechanics on the project digging with this gigantic drill into the Earth and everything like that. Shades of Inferno though it may be, but I really loved the rapport, and she seems to react to the Doctor's strangeness with this awe and this wonder, and she's constantly got like a smirk and a smile building on her face whenever he's going off on a tangent, all these kinds of things. And she's just very human at heart. But I love that she has this background of science and dedication to that, and it would have been really interesting, exploring alien worlds, and she comes off the TARDIS kind of hearkening back to the Hartnell era is what I think of the most, where he would want to take samples of the soil and the rocks, and she'd be able to go out and do that and bring them back into the TARDIS, study them, see if there's radiation, all these kinds of things. Even though I know the TARDIS console has its own sort of sensors along those lines, it would have made much more a tactile resonance in her being able to stroll out of the TARDIS with a shoebox, dig up some dirt, and this is the sample for this planet, and being able to answer to things the Doctor would normally be rifling off the cuff about this particular planet, this particular world. It would be resounding for him, because then he wouldn't have to do as much of the work, and he'd have a companion who is very smart in her own right, that kind of thing. Plus, I like the age factor. It would have been very interesting, I think, as far as a character dynamic, to have this more aged, sort of knowledgeable companion, rather than, Matt Smith, who was the youngest Doctor to date at that point, and still to this date, I think as of the time of this recording, even younger than Peter Davison was in the classic series. And to have an older companion playing off, what is effectively visibly a younger Doctor, but a Doctor who is also very aged, and Matt Smith bringing to the table all of those qualities of the Time Lord that has lived centuries and centuries. I just think it would have been a fantastic way to play off of that mutual dynamic between Doctor and companion, as opposed to, the Matt Smith Doctor taking Amy, this young woman, this young beautiful woman, on a date throughout, all of time and space, and then bring Rory in, and of course, we know what happened to Rory in Series 5, the character that dies the most out of everyone else and then keeps coming back and everything. Oh my God, they killed Rory, I just think Nasreen Chaudhry would have been a great addition to the TARDIS Travelers through time and space, and there would have been a wellspring, as far as I'm concerned, in story opportunities with that character playing off the Doctor, going on adventures, dealing with the Daleks, dealing with whomever else, the Doctor might run into and everything like that. And especially in the concept of how Series 5 rounds out with the Big Bang and the TARDIS exploding, it could have been quite compelling to have a Nasreen Chaudhry type character in that equivalent, in that framework, to really voice the idea that, the Earth, the universe is at stake, and giving us kind of like a beeline, a sort of foundation for just the ramifications of that. A very human heart at the center, but one that is also just absolutely, enraptured by science and dedicating her life to that science, and how all of that would be in a state of flux by the end. I think that would have been some riveting storytelling for this particular character to be an addition on further adventures in time and space with the Doctor and the TARDIS. Otherwise, I'd love to hear from you guys. If you remember the character, if you agree with me or not, anything goes in the comments below. Whether you think this character could have got some really great story mileage out of being the Doctor's companion. And otherwise, that'll be pretty much it from me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.